if you're seeing me with the big monitor behind me, I'm clearly not on a Air Canada 787 without Wi-Fi, and that I am not in England. I am back in Canada en route to the United States, and you are watching Black Man's Spy, U.S. Iran. What did we say? Ball of Confusion cast or something like that? Day 112 by my count. And boy, what a day it's been. I spent the last few hours going over everything, reading a lot of analyses, and trying to make sense of the world that we're in, considering that all of the peace, love, and happiness that Donald Trump appears to be exuding over the Gulf states and how much now he loves and respects Iran, right? Go figure.
They're
Um,
rational.
and then he immediately threatens to destroy them while at the G7. We'll get to all of that. But in the meantime, first, let me introduce you to my co-host, Jacob Karsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire. And alongside of him is Waja the Gay Lion, hailing from Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is fun. Glad you guys could pick up the slack for me yesterday. I had a horrible, horrible flight. Let's banter a bit. My flight out of London to Montreal was 30 minutes early. We landed at almost 3:45 p.m. Fast, right? Big tailwinds all the way on the way back. And we had that thing where you didn't get the gate when you landed, so you had to sit for a minute. So we're like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll just sit here for a minute. Yada, 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 right? We'll be at the gate any minute now. Then they go, oh, they don't have a gate for us. So they want us to move off to the side, right? So we move off to the side. We're still there next to the terminal. Then they go, oh, a tractor broke down at the gate that was available and it can't be towed right away. So they've asked us to move away from the terminal and get on a ramp next to the end of the runway. All right. Now I know this spot. This is where they move airplanes when there's been a hijacking and they want the SWAT team to storm it. It's like near nothing. We're watching cars on the highway, right? For entertainment. So fast forward to 2 hours. We sat there after arriving 30 minutes early. Everyone on the plane who had a connecting flight missed it. And we were 1.5 hours to the gate after arriving 30 minutes early. So 2-hour delay. That's what I get. And the funny thing was, I was awake. I was nice and awake. I, had a good time. I was going to have a glass of wine in London, and I decided to spill it on the people next to me, which is fun. But they were from Ireland, so we had lots of laughs over that. And because, the Irish will laugh at anything. And so we had that, flew out, got good sleep on the flight, double thumbs up. My 4-day weekend was complete right to the moment I landed in Montreal. Then it went straight to hell. So that is how I arrived back here. Jacob, I see you have your Russian warship, go fuck yourself, Snake Island special mug. I love that mug.
And it's because I have a Ukraine special Q&A for paid subscribers in a few hours' time, in 4 hours' time. So
really?
That's why I thought it'll be a Ukraine theme day today.
Oh, okay. I didn't get an invite for that, so GFYN.
Well, if you're a subscriber, you get an
I am
invite.
a paid subscriber to your podcast, both of your podcasts.
I didn't
get a freebie. I paid money, baby. $5-6. Because you know what? The information is good. You should have. I didn't see me invited.
Your inbox is in a mess, man. That's your problem.
Waja, what are you sporting? One of your craft mugs? Is it full of mead? Is it full of?
I made homemade mocha.
Oh, look at that. Ooh, that's very nice. Homemade mocha. All right. Well, I
And where
am
is mocha? Where is mocha originally?
I
don't know.
it's
It's
not
in
in Brazil.
Yemen. It's
It
in Yemen.
mocha. Okay.
What?
It's
Hadn't
in
been there.
Yemen.
Wait.
It's in
Where in
Yemen.
Yemen is mocha? There's a name
Mocha?
problem. There's a word problem
There's
here.
probably a Arabic word for
It
it.
is
Arabic
the
word.
original mocha is in Yemen.
Mocha.
Hold it.
Mocha.
Is it
Okay,
mocha?
It
Mocha.
is.
Oh, it is. It's mocha. Mocha.
Yes. Yes.
Mocha.
That's what I'm saying.
Mocha.
Wallahi. Hold on.
Ah.
Let me check to
Mocha.
see if I went through it.
Have you guys?
I'm one of those guys. Well, I'd be riding shotgun. I sometimes. Last time I went to
That's
Yemen,
right.
when I lived in the Emirates, it was for a security job, and we were gunslinging back then. That was when Al Qaeda still had a presence. Al Qaeda, the Arabian Peninsula, was still operating that. No, you're right, Mocha. It's on the road.
Wow.
It's just up from Perim Island. Here's
Yeah.
Duhab, I know that. Qadam, yep. And then Mocha.
Yeah.
If you read the Arabic, you'd never, ever know that was Mocha. But if you read the English, there's English all over there. Mocha. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
And-
that's
and-
another. By the
Okay.
way, I get these
And you
travel
know how
bugs.
I know
Please.
it? You know,
How do you know?
I have to admit, I haven't even been there. But I got coffee from Mocha, from the Yemeni ambassador to Denmark many
Oh,
years
is that
ago.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You got something to spare?
Wow.
Is he going to spare some of that
It was
Yemeni
actually
mocha?
a lady ambassador.
No.
Hmm?
Okay. All right.
It's
I'm
true.
rolling with it. Continue.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, back in the days of what's his name, the general. What?
Oh,
Wait,
under
Zayn.
wait. Now you're dating yourself. You're talking about when it was South Yemen.
No. It was Yemen.
Okay.
Abdullah Saleh. Zayn Abdullah
Abdullah
Saleh.
Saleh.
Ah,
Abdullah
Saleh.
Saleh.
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay. Halas.
Yeah.
His son had a
It's-
documentary
it's no
recently
shit,
about
guys.
how he, Abdullah Saleh died fighting the Houthis, gunfire, cornered in his house and bodyguards. The fight lasted several days
Yeah.
of constant gunfire back and forth until he um, told his son to run away, defending the position, and he was the last man standing, so his family could run away.
Fucking knives and pistols, bitches. You you don't ever want to get into that circumstance. But if you do, make sure one, you always I talk to all these crazies on the internet who go, "Oh, your lived experience is bullshit." Well, I had some lived experience when I was in Iraq. I had 250 Iraqis working for me, all as private bodyguards. And we were guarding some of the hottest sites. The Ministry of Education. You would think that would be a not such a big deal. We lost 6 men, 4 British and 2 of our clients to a suicide bomber there. And we had 3 ambushes coming out of the MOE. Turns out, under the Oil for Food program, a lot of money went to the Ministry of Education. But they also determined that's where they were laundering their money. And the Ministry of Education was like the bank of the Ministry of Education. So everybody that went there, they weren't there to administer schools in Iraq. They were there as sort of anytime tellers
To siphon off.
for all the Saddam people. And needless to say, when we got there and the forensic study of the billions that went into the Ministry of Education, a lot of people's livelihood got shut off, and they were all what we call FRLs, former regime loyalists. And those former regime loyalists, They were like, we got bombs, guns, and the will to use it. And the one thing that they wanted to do was make sure that the Ministry of Education team that was studying the oil for food was dead. And they did it. They deaded them. They got them. I mean, we had 3 running gun battles coming out of there from what we call shark patrols. A shark patrol was an Iraqi terrorist unit that drove around with like a PKM machine gun and AK-47s. And what they would do is they would come next to you on the highway and they would just fucking gun your ass down as they drove by. And we had this one shark patrol that, well, it was our fault because I had British bodyguards back then and they sucked. They sucked because they were looking for a fight. Our Iraqi bodyguards, they did not want to fight. But when a fight would come, they'd give it to you, you know? But yikes, man, those Shark Patrol ripped apart one of our vehicles coming from the MOE. So we were like, do they have to go work in the Ministry of Education? Can they remote from the Republican Palace? And the guys were like, no, that's exactly what they want. Because while you're there, they're going to set fire to all the records. And then they set fire to all the records. I mean, that place was amazing. It just horrible. But you know what? One of the things I kept for the Ministry of the Education, we had a rollout for an ambush, that Shark Patrol ambush. And we were stuffing AK and I had M4 magazines. And I always kept an extra 9mm magazine. So I had 6 9mm magazines. And it's just like that last one is for when the knife and the pistol is all you got, right? So I can imagine Salah there sending the son away, sending the wife away, and going, I am about to meet Allah, but on my terms, right? I'm sure he had his jambia, right? His little jambia is the Yemeni dagger that curves, although the dagger itself doesn't curve. But I'd keep a frag. We used to call those break contact devices, hand grenades, M67 frag grenade. And but geez Louise, imagine being stuck in your own house. The Houthis are wild ass goddamn Indians anyway. Or they're just wild tribesmen. They fight in plastic Chinese flip-flops. And they're coming to cut your head off. Right?
Yeah.
Extra mags around the house. What do you say? All right. You guys, we've got to 1,000 people.
Plus 1.1.
Yes, good. I'm saying that. We're there. Good. Banter over. War stories finished. No one has to get their head cut off after this because America lost its head in the negotiations anyway. But first, let's take a look at how confident the oil market is about this deal because oil has dropped below $80. Why'd hit us with the oil, brother?
Yeah, you got it. Believe it or not, WTI is below $78, making it down to 76. Let me pull it out for you guys. Oh, now it's back to 79, actually.
People are buying, baby. People are buying. It's going to bounce up and down because people are filling the tanks. Every physical gallon of a barrel of oil that comes out of the Arabian Gulf now is going to be like gold. And everyone's going to start hoarding it because Trump is crazy. So WTI, what is that? 79. Brent North Sea crude 76. Brent is at 79. It looks like.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Well, you know what? I'm not paying attention to it because you have to pay attention to real oil. This is all confidence in future oil. By the way, I forgot to show you my coffee mug. I'm on my little dainty Italian mug today because I have a giant Alessi pot I'm drinking Karak chai. Karak chai is a South Asian. It's between the Gulf states and Pakistan. I like 3 different types of crazy tea. Kashmiri chai comes out pink because they use all these freaking crazy flavors. Karak chai is cardamom tea, but I use Karak chai mixed with Nescafe 3-in-1. So I get the Karak chai cardamom, and I get coffee with my sugar, which I shouldn't be drinking. But That's me. All right. Well, now that we know oil is stabilizing, the world is starting to understand that the war by the DocuSign signing of the Memorandum of Understanding the other day, which is funny because it's the auto pen. That's what DocuSign is, right? DocuSigned it. According to the Trump administration, J.D. Vance spearheaded all of this. Thank you, J.D., so that when blame comes, it will go on J.D. Vance.
It will
that
roll
blame is coming.
downhill. The shit will roll downhill.
3
Yes,
and
it
1 with
does.
3 and 1 with cardamom. I recommend this, guys. Nescafe 3 and 1 with Karak Chai. That should be Karak Cafe Chai. Anyway, Canadian. Now, here's my favorite part. The Trump. I know I missed the show yesterday, but I was listening to the commentary. The Trump administration, for some bizarre, strange reason, in this amazing, awesome, best deal ever done in the history of deals, way better than the JCPOA. It's not even an agreement, it's a memorandum of understanding, but it blows away any memorandum of understanding ever written in the history of MOUs. It's the greatest, the biggest, the brightest. America gets everythingest. And it's so awesome, the White House will not order the United States government to release any copies to anyone. Not the House. The Senate got a briefing yesterday, which was about military capabilities and a general outline of the MOU. But what they did not get was any of the details of the MOU. And J.D. Vance yesterday was on The Five with Fox News and is still on a holy war, saying that the MOU that everyone is talking about that apparently was released is not the MOU. But Prime Minister Carney of Canada yesterday, you know where I'm going with this, right? Prime Minister Carney of Canada yesterday at the G7 says he was shown the MOU. And when asked, he goes, well, how did you get a copy of it? He goes, we're Canada. We have sources too. Right?
The audacity.
I love that shit. It's probably the Iranians said it to him. Carney, you're a good guy. Or someone in the White House, or Maggie Haberman, or some journalist. J.D. Vance might have actually, or worse, they're in the group chat.
Yeah, the
group
chat. It's the group chat.
Okay, you ready for this? Carney says that he has seen it. And he says he understands the details and pretty much confirms that the MOU, as outlined in the news, is it. Here's the kicker. Guess who hasn't seen it besides the American people? Officially has not been transmitted the actual document. Take a guess. Valdez, go.
The Israelis.
Benjamin Netanyahu has not sent a copy. But now you and I both know, between you, me, and the Fence Post, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner have a copy of it, and they sent the Israelis one through the Mossad or somebody, right? Dropped it off the edge of a table in a Costa Coffee in Washington, D.C. Now, we know this thing is damaging, and here's why we know it's damaging. Yesterday, the White House put out its talking points for this memorandum. And the talking points are very, very weird. Weird in the sense that each one is crafted around explaining how truly awesome the MOU is going to be when you find out about it. Get ready. Get stoked up. The MOU has got to be the single bestest thing in the history of bestest things. So instead of showing it to you, we are going to give you the talking points. So
I'm going to bring up. It's signed. It's signed. That's right. The first point, isn't it? Yeah. It's
signed. And I love the way, here it is. This is from Michael Weiss. Here's the full PDFs of the White House talking points. You can glean much of what the basic document is and by how they're selling it. Yeah, it's like, no nukes forever. Okay. Okay, let me go to the first page. Here it is. Top 5 messaging points. Let me pull that up in a closer image. Iran, number 1. Iran will never, ever have a nuclear weapon. You know why? Because it's written in the MOU where they said, we pinky promise we will not have a nuclear weapon.
That is wonderful.
Yep. Number 2. Okay. Number 2, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite ones because this takes some crack cocaine. This is where you start saying meth is a powerful drug. Number 2, President Trump ended the fighting on every front, including Lebanon. No forever war. So you know what's coming.
This morning.
You know what's coming. I ended 3 wars, not 1. I ended the Iran. I ended the Strait of Hormuz. Which he doesn't seem to think is different. And I ended the Lebanons. No forever wars. No, bitch. Just wars that go 8 weeks, 10 weeks past what you promised. Right? Oh my God. No forever wars. This thing was well on its way to being a forever war. More cardamom for everybody. By the way, which came from Yemen. Karak Chai comes from Yemen. It's Yemen Day here. Okay, here's point number 3. Tell it to everybody. The Strait of Hormuz is open again, free of charge for 60 days. After which the Oman, that's the part they're not saying, for 60 days. After which Oman and Oman and Iran have pledged that they will start charging an administrative fee. And apparently, the White House has no problem with fees. They just said they will not authorize a toll.
Toll, exactly. So
I shit you not.
It's a fee. It's a
Isn't that
security
toll
and
a fee?
environmental fee.
Wallahi, I'm telling
But
you.
a toll is a fee.
You know what? You need to stop bringing that common sense up. By the way, for those of
It's
you
something entirely different.
For those of you who are asking, wow, we're already there. I was going to say there is a chat thread that you can all access to ask your questions and make your comments. We're already at 88 comments. I opened it about an hour ago. Yikes. I'm going to be answering a lot of these. We're going to end a little early so that we can answer a lot of these questions because that's our job, is to keep you smart, right? And like now we know Mocha is Mocha, Yemen, with a Kha. I mean, this is our job. Okay.
Next time I go to a coffee shop, I'll pronounce mocha. I'll see what they say.
No. Iran, point number 4. Iran's money comes from its own unfrozen money, not from the American taxpayers. And only if they perform. This is a talking point. This is not the MOU. That was exactly what happened with Barack Obama, and they went nuts for years talking about pallets of cash. Have you seen the comparison photograph of the pallets of cash? Has it really exist? Hold on for a sec. Let me find this. This is
because they do exist.
They
do exist pallets of cash.
No, I mean the current
usually
actual pallets of cash.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to find an image of it. Somebody actually made a proper sized image, because the other one that was up there with Barack Obama and Trump before was not accurate. The latest one is accurate, right? Because $1.7 billion, okay, it's not that much. You're talking, what is 150 times that? What is, well, actually not 150 times that, 30 times that, 15 times that. All right, I'm doing the math badly. But the pallets of cash, they're, I think that's not the correct one. But there's an image here that shows, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That is true to size. Right? So the little last cheese section of the cheese pile there was Obama's 1.7 billion. And that was money ordered released by the courts on military sales from the 1970s for F-14 Tomcats. That was the interest income. We had to release that no matter what. And we released it into a charity fund in Qatar. Right? This guy,
and
he's,
you
first off,
released
what's missing?
After the verification for the nuclear program had started.
Yes. Well, you're right. Obama's was,
Yeah.
right? IAEA was in there for the entire time.
Yeah.
What, 97%, almost 200 tons of uranium and other materials were removed from Iran to Russia and blended down. So they removed 97% of all material, left only 3%. That 3% of the material that was left over was only enriched to 3.7%, which was the deal. And the Iranians also, in the first sentence or the second sentence, said that they would not pursue a nuclear weapon. And with the JCPOA, they couldn't pursue a nuclear weapon. They needed the centrifuges. They needed that cascading to process what was left over. And once they started it, it was very easy to see. Now, when did it start? The day after Donald Trump tore up the JCPOA and said the United States is not involved anymore. Another component of the JCPOA people don't realize was it wasn't a United States only document. It was a document signed by the European Union, right? Russia, China, the United States, the IAEA, and most Gulf states were signed onto it. It was 3 years of in-depth diplomacy, and the Iranians wanted that money. They wanted not that money. They wanted access to selling their money in the oil market. And they got it right up till 2017, 2018, when Trump tore the JCPOA up, and the Iranians were waiting with centrifuges. And they were like, 90% uranium, let's go. Atomic bomb level material. Because guess what? They tore up the JCPOA.
21st. They went 21st because from 3.67 to 20, that's scientifically the most complex part of it. And then they were angling for Biden to resurrect the JCPOA, but Biden was afraid of doing it, also because of pressure domestically from the Republicans in Congress. So he couldn't do it. And then after he couldn't do it, and Trump coming in again, they went to 60% from the 20%.
And it's freaking a hop, skip, and a jump to 90%. Look, here's something that people don't understand that Black Man Spy has been trying to clear you for 3-4 months now, right? When we hit those mountains at Isfahan, Natanz, and and Fardus, we hit the mountains. Okay? Yeah, could they have gone and penetrated like they claimed they did last year through the air shafts and collapsed into the concrete sarcophagus that is inside the mountain? Yes, you could have done that. And you would have penetrated right there where the bomb blew up. It does not guarantee the mountain falls in on you. It's wherever the bomb blew up. It's like being shot with a bullet. But there's 400 people in the room, right? There were hundreds of centrifuges in that place. It is a hall of centrifuges. And what they were relying on is the shock effect of blasting through the concrete sarcophagus, which would desensitize and shatter the centrifuges, which must be carefully balanced. Yeah, okay. But how hard do you think it is to rebalance them? What, Jacob?
Yeah, one of our viewers asked if it had been penetrated, and
A spectacular penetration? It would have been a spectacular
a
penetration.
massively spectacular penetration. Yeah,
Mm.
one of our loyal viewers.
Yeah, but what if you
My-
hit the central hall and not the place where the centrifuges are?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you got in there, you spectacularly penetrated, but you didn't reach climax or something, whatever you want to say. You did not achieve satisfaction, as they
No.
say in Westworld, right? It's just one of those things. So yeah, our bomb, by
You
the
only
way,
achieved obliteration, which
the bombs
is
we
not what you're
dropped,
looking for.
the bombs we dropped were developed over 40 years specifically for those bunkers. But guess what? Unless they will collapse the mountain on it. And all they did was close the entryways, womp womp, as somebody said. All they did was close the entryways. Backhoes and dump trucks, right? Now they're going to go in there. They're going to go, oh, centrifuges are fine. Let's restore power, lighting. Let's get those Chinese engineers in here to repair the concrete. And let's get the centrifuges back online. I'd have that shit at 90% as a national priority if I were the Iranians. And with that, as soon as we hit 90%, whatever, the first amount that we get there, Baluchi Desert, baby, and detonate an atomic bomb. That's what I would do. And then I'd say, oh, you're worried about the MOU and the agreement that we signed? Yeah, well, we lied about that. Fuck you. Now we're nuclear power on par with Israel.
Because you assassinated our leader.
Our supreme leader, yeah.
My dad, my mom,
My dad.
my wife, my
My
daughter,
kids.
right? And every other senior person who mentored me. All right? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, however, you have to admit the Iranians have been rather adult about this. Wadja, what do you say? People are saying you're too quiet and that's dangerous. Somebody wrote that.
Right back.
What do you think?
I'm thinking there's a lot of missing pieces for this puzzle. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a lot of people being really excited about a peace deal when I'm seeing actual weak point for this bridge to collapse at any moment.
Mhm.
You know, when you build any type of bridge, you want to have a solid foundation to that, so you can have anything cross without that bridge falling apart. The reality of the situation is that we have Israel bombarding Lebanon to my morning right now, maybe 30 minutes ago.
What? They started this again?
Yes, they have been hitting Lebanon
In
and
the
they have
south,
not
yeah.
stopped. And they have not stopped hitting Lebanon. The Iranians have come out and said that they will hit Israel hard if they continue doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Israel. Go ahead.
We have an entire section here we want to talk about with Israel. But let me get through
I'll
this
leave
and
that
we're going to talk
alone
about that because the commentary coming out of Israel is merciless.
My question, I have
no
a question
wonder.
to you though.
Mm-hmm.
The pallet of money, how much was that from the Trump? The one that they showed us.
Oh, that was 300 million. They're still missing 24 billion on top of it. 300 billion. They're missing 24 billion
okay.
right on top of it. And don't forget that 3 billion Dir Balik, right? Bakshish that the Emiratis paid. You know that shit hurt too.
I thought there was some missing.
But I think the 12 billion are already released immediately on Friday after the signature. The first 12.
Yeah, that was last Sunday. The Friday is this Friday is when the actual signing ceremony is taken, but that money's going. in case you guys are seeing these ships move behind my head on the map, those are Iranian tankers that are now moving from Chabahar, very large crude carriers. There's no less than 3 to 4 that got underway yesterday, and they've already gone past the U.S. Yep, the U.S. Interception zone because the naval blockade is over. So the U.S. Navy now gets to watch Iranian tankers filled with, 200 million barrels of oil each go out and make $100 billion per ship, waving at them, flipping them the bird. And it will take them no time to get those damaged tankers off. And here's the kicker. Somebody said the other day, well, Trump said that we took 100 million barrels from the Iranians by seizing those tankers. I don't believe it. Here's why. Moving those damaged tankers, right, to another port and doing a ship-to-ship transfer, that wouldn't have been done overnight. Those ships would still be there. You have risk of fire. All those, they don't now belong to us. They belong to the Iranians, and now they are unsanctioned as of Sunday. So we didn't steal any money. We didn't get 100 million barrels out of that. Trump always likes to feel like he's stealing from people, like he got something from someone. It's just weird. Okay, next. Let me see. Oh,
he reminds me of my aunt when she goes. Sorry about that. He reminds me of my aunt when she goes to the market and she's bargaining and like she's like really hard at bargaining every single time. And the guy like is like, oh yeah, I feel like gives her like another 5 riyals, 10 riyals off, like, and like he's giving her the bargain and she feels so happy. And like he basically charged her the same prices of the market prices, but she feels like she got a bargain. That's
she
Trump
has
for
to
you.
argue. I did that the other day. I was in London, right? The guy I'm with was an Afghan. And, I don't know why. It's just cultural habit. I bought I needed a recharge battery pack. I lost my battery. And then I was there. I was like, oh, that's a lot for a battery pack. And the guy was like, "Halas, that's the price." And I was like, "Where is my gift?" You got to get it. And he did. He gave me a keychain. That's part of the deal. You have to argue or it wasn't worth buying, right? And that you got to in that part of the world it's a deal. So anyway, by the way, Prime Minister Carney says he's read the MOU. He actually said it was well structured, reasonable, and it involved the Gulf states. So he doesn't have a problem with it. It ain't his money getting taken, right? The strategic.
I think everyone at the G7 were being polite. To be honest. Now, just on marine traffic, Malcolm, it's also important to mention that none of the other nations' ships that are trapped in the Gulf have been able to transit yet.
Nope.
It's only Iranian ships.
Only Iranian ships are moving. Well, the insurance companies are keeping them there. So they're keeping them there, and now they're prepping, right? They're loading up, they're getting their oil and doing that, and it will open. It's theoretically, we should see massive movement by Saturday through the SOH. However, the main traffic separation scheme is mined. The movement will likely be untold through the Iranian traffic separation scheme because that's going up to the north, because it is known to be safe. And the southern one, it's safe-ish, but it's shallower waters. You could run aground, and no one wants a massive a massive ecological disaster on the Musandam Peninsula. So we shall see what happens, but I think a lot of those both container ships, all the rest of them. Now, granted, some dumbass may go through the main traffic separation scheme and hit a mine, but the Iranians warned you, right? They said it was a danger zone. This quote was very interesting. When
I
asked,
actually have a question.
yes,
I
what's
have
the
a question.
Please.
Now, specifically, it's about your expertise here. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is about what, 20 miles or
That where
20
you're pointing, no,
kilometers?
that section where you're pointing from Hisab all the way to Bandar Abbas is 90 kilometers.
90
Going
kilometers.
from the Hisab, the right-hand tip, nope, down in Oman, there,
Okay.
go right. That is 21 kilometers, 21 miles, 21
Got it.
miles.
Now,
Yeah, that's 60 miles at the deepest.
how many ships? How now? Before the Strait of Hormuz was mined all over here, we had 110 ships passing the strait. If you take all of
Each
this
way,
out,
300 per day
the-
on average.
how many ships can you pass through through the easy pass with full capacity?
Multipass. Many. Don't forget, there's all of Fujairah and the northern Sea of Oman. It's full of empty tankers waiting to go in. So yeah, you could get a lot through. It's just a question of there is now a very rigid traffic separation scheme. They'll be in a conga line, like it's like a single bridge toll lane going to a bridge. So you can get through. I'm sure they can go back to 200 or 300 a day. It's just the Iranians, you're going through the Iranian waters. Now, the French British Allied Task Force will probably announce that they're moving in the next few days down to that place. It's going to be led by the French. Likely, the French aircraft carrier or one of its helicopter carriers will come down there and act as the mothership off of Khor which is the northeast of the peninsula. And then they will start sweeping, technical sweeping. The question I want to know is, will the Iranians allow the Americans to do any sweeping, the U.S. Navy? And I have a feeling since they control the IRGC controls the traffic separation scheme now, it's not happening.
No. Well, the United States has to withdraw from the area, according to the Iranians, within 30 days of signing the agreement.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we shall see. We shall see. Somebody asked, do I think this is going to happen? Yeah, I think this thing's going to happen. I think this MOU is done. Iran's making bank, people. Bank. Did you see the joke yesterday that a coalition of 40 nations has demanded America attack them so that they can get paid?
Including Greenland.
Including Greenland. So they can get paid. The Iranians are making what appears to be about $125 billion profit off of this war, you know? So all reconstruction. So one of the comments that
just what you were asking and saying, is this going to happen? Yeah, the MOU is going to happen, but the final solution is very unlikely. I'll put it somewhere between 5 and 10%. And, then the Iranians will probably, go along, and then we'll see what Trump does.
Yeah. Well, of course they're going to go along. I've been looking for this quote that was made by a U.S. diplomat yesterday, where their argument was that what's going on with Iran is not the fighting that we had with Iran is not as significant. And what was most important is that we now have, don't laugh, an actual understanding with the leadership of Iran. Apparently, this whole war was to have an actual understanding. I recall regime change being in there and killing them all, and unconditional surrender. And here's the kicker. When I went through the military, I've had almost 40 years in this region. I understood unconditional surrender meant the enemy surrendered, not you.
Yeah. Usually
well,
would be.
Yeah.
I thought
This is
I thought I thought an agreement that took 3 years of the best American scientists and the best American diplomats and the best America could offer to bring the best deal that they could bring
Mm.
is an understanding.
Oh, well, one analyst put it properly this way. There is a mechanism, there are organizations, literally everything came down to what Donald Trump wanted at that moment in his head. So, in other words, the expertise of everything in the United States. Thomas Day is right. We are in an idiocracy. The movie Idiocracy was from the future, the not too distant future, sent back
Oh
to
my
show us
God.
how stupid we are. Here's the quote. A U.S. official on the Iran deal. What's more important than the actual document
Mm.
is the understanding we have for each other.
That's beautiful.
It's
That's
beautiful,
beautiful.
man. That's beautiful,
Peace and
man.
happiness.
That's
Peace and
beautiful,
happiness
man.
forever.
Oh, give me a hug.
Send him a Romeo and Juliet
That's
book.
beautiful.
Almighty. Well, it's more important than an actual document limiting Iran's nuclear expansion. Is we
They don't
know each other.
realize that the guy right at the end of this on the Iranian side, there's actually an international arrest warrant out for him because he was the guy behind the terror bombing in Buenos Aires back in '94.
Oh, you're talking about Mujtaba? I thought that was
No,
Ali
no,
Khamenei.
Vahidi.
Oh, Vahidi.
Vahidi. Yeah.
Oh. I like this.
Vahidi.
Rainbows and unicorns for everyone. Peace, love, and happiness. There was another comment. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So Vahidi has said to Trump, "Oh yeah, that was a mistake. That was probably a bit harsh when we
Yeah, don't
blew
worry
up
about it,
the Jewish center in Buenos Aires back then. It was a
Yeah, how
little
many
harsh.
people did that kill? I think it killed like 12. I mean,
No. In the 80s.
yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, the Jewish Center, Cultural
Yeah,
Center in
no, it
Buenos
was in
Aires.
'94. It killed, I think, 80 something.
Oh, you know what? When you get old
So
like me,
I think
go
it
ahead.
did.
Sorry.
I'm checking it right now. The Buenos Aires bombing in 1984, done by a suicide attack. You're right. It killed 85, injuring 300. That's a real terror bombing. That's back in the day. That's the bad old
Yeah,
days of terrorism when suicide bombing was
exactly.
like the standard. And that was an
And,
IRGC. Robot
and the
Bender says,
current
where's
leader
my
of the
phone?
IRGC was the guy that planned it
Yeah.
when
Well,
he was in the
okay.
Quds
Look,
Force.
he feels sorry for mass murdering all of those people, and he will regret it every day while he is swimming in his swimming pool of his new residence that he's going to buy as an IRGC command post, right? Underground, with he's going to have an infinity pool in there.
Yeah.
Okay, with a view of the missile sites so that when they get in the next war, he can swim and watch the missiles take off at the same time. With the $12 billion that's likely going to the IRGC to now,
Yeah,
back
as we
pay
speak.
for everybody, back pay
Yeah,
for everybody. Okay,
exactly.
wow. Would you believe I'm not even a quarter of the way through the things?
So
Okay, some other points.
there's
Yes, Roger.
some news. There's some news. It's about 13 minutes ago, Trump invoked the Defense Production Act, directing Secretary Hegseth to prioritize and strengthen U.S. Munition supply chain.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
what does that mean Whirlpool is now gonna be making Patriot interceptors and THAAD warheads? Because
yeah,
that's what that does. Look, this just shows them they fucked up, people.
Yeah.
Okay, money on the table, professional intelligence assessments here. You use 3/4 of our most advanced technology on a country that you could have done it with iron goddamn bombs. The JSSM, the Joint Surface Strike Missile, or Joint Surface Strike Missile, which was a stealth cruise missile, undetectable. You fucking destroyed all the radars in the first hours. So why were you dropping these missiles? Why? You could have flown circles in B-52s and dropped 10,000 JDAMs with more accuracy, better kinetic effect, but they wanted to shoot all the cool shit. And they shot it. And now, if a real fucking war starts,
spectacular penetrations.
they
It
got
was to
plenty
get
of
the real
spectacular.
spectacular penetrations.
That I'm
They were
telling you,
just celebrating the July 4th, man.
I shit you not. Somebody out there is going to make up a patch called Spectacular Penetrations. And we're going to sell it. I'm going to write it down. Mary said she loves it when I roll my eyes. Yeah, when I get to the point of, are you shitting me? You know, this is why I couldn't run for Congress, because I can't say this on the record. Are you fucking shitting me? And blade hand that guy like I'm going to slap him. Right? Okay, here's some other things we need to know. There is a strategic intelligence assessment from the Institute of Study of War that says, simply, Iran exploited Trump and his fragile ego and got everything they wanted plus. And they get to keep their nukes. They get to keep everything.
Yeah. What else do you need to know?
Well, they literally hired psychiatrists and therapists to assess his mental state, and they were running all of their messaging through these psychiatrists and therapists. And they said that they saw a difference. They saw that Trump was responding in a better way when they were running these messages through these therapists. So I'm telling you, they did their homework. You said in the beginning of the war,
of course
Trump
they did.
thinks he's the negotiator walking into the camel suit and thinking he's going to get the best deal that he could. He got played.
You know how I always make that joke about he's in the camel suit, he wants to buy 100 camels, right? And
yeah.
And that he's going to come out the next morning, there's going to be 100 donkeys with the word camel painted on the side, right? You asked for camel, it says camel. Well, I have reevaluated my assessment of that, and I'm almost dead certain that what we're talking about here is this. He came away with this. 100 of these. Next morning, a van pulls up, and they start offloading boxes. And he goes, "What's this?" He goes, "Camels."
Camels.
My favorite part will be they will be fucking dromedaries, right? These are Mongolian camels.
They're not even air camels. They're 2 humps. They have 2 humps.
Like somebody says, lumpy horses. Lumpy horses. Oh, I'm getting T-shirt ideas. T-shirts and patch. Lumpy horses.
Oh my God.
You know, I've been to the souk, and I've been to the huge camel souks with thousands of these camels. And the first thing I realize is this is not my game. Okay, don't pay someone to go in and buy camels and make sure he owns camels. No, this is what Trump comes out with, right? 400 plushy camels. We have delivered your camels. Is it a lie? No, it is not. It is a fact. You did not say you wanted Arabian camels. You said you wanted camels. This one, we if you wish, we will trade for this at 70% loss. No, that's not what they're talking about. You asked for camels, I send this. Oh my God. I would never go to the camel souk, folks. This is a metaphor for negotiating in the Middle East. They will give you what you ask for, just not what you want.
You want something from an Arab who's a dealer? You play on their pride and honor. You go, I come to you from the Far East to the whole Middle East for you. I am here to get the best deal from the most honorable person in this area. I come for your kindness and your generosity. I am looking. You play with the words, and you make them feel special, and then the seller goes, okay, let me feed you first. And then you sit down for a feast, and then you have the tea and the coffee, and then they give you the
Camel.
and then you make a deal. Trump walked in there, and he goes, "I want 100 camels right now."
Yeah. And they go, okay, you want camel? Camel. All right. And they'll send it to you the next day, and they'll be like, wait, that's a donkey. And he goes, no, his name is Kamal. Kamal the donkey.
And
With
then
a
just
K. With a K, not a Q.
and then just to underline that he doesn't understand jack shit. Afterwards, after they played him completely and given him all the Timo shit there, then he says they are very rational people. So then they know the next deal we can screw him as well.
Okay, Trump said this really upset our next subject. We're gonna go long today because I know I missed my thing. I have a 10:30, so we can go to about 20 after. As part of this story, Trump said the current Iranian leadership is very rational, very nice people to deal with. Right? He said the Gulf states are nice people to deal with. They're rational people. Really? Because that's not what I was hearing.
But he also
delivered to me what I
did another
asked.
thing. He humiliated Oman at the same time.
Yeah. Oman. Yeah, he'd have to. Okay. Then Trump made a statement that Netanyahu, the next subject we want to talk about is the great Israel-America break. If you have not seen the new poll that has come out from Israel on Donald Trump, you have not been living. I'm telling you, folks, this is the approval poll of Donald Trump in Israel yesterday. 38%, down from 58%, a 46-point flip in the last 3 weeks in Israel. Donald Trump, I shit you not, now that Hani is dead, Donald Trump is the head of the Hamas. Because Donald Trump is the most hated man in Israel. He's got an approval rating that's MAGA level, 38%. 38%. They were talking about naming, there's a kibbutzim up in the north in the Golan that's named Donald Trump kibbutz, kibbutz up there or something like that, And now they're going to change that name. All right. They're going to change it to somebody that they would prefer that's better for them than Trump. And, and I don't know who that is. Maybe Gavin Newsom. Who knows? Barack Obamaville. Just to piss him off. But man, Trump lost 46% support in Israel in 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks comes from when the first minutes, the actual MOU. If you guys recall, the MOU has stayed pretty much the same. So the stuff we were hearing from the Iranians 3 weeks ago turned out to be legitimate intelligence. And they were leaking it to get around the Americans. That 3 weeks of bullshit and fighting was Trump trying to stave off the inevitable. With that Pete Hegseth bombed them into negotiation. We negotiate with bombs. The Iranians are like, fuck y'all. Y'all gonna be back in about 3 weeks. Right? Hey, how's your... And then Trump, in response to the Iranians, and this, by the way, this is what I'm getting at here. Israel is big mad, y'all. Big mad. Big mad. This much mad. How much mad? Too many mad. 46% flip. Israel is now in a complete Trump, I hate Trump mode, because they want to continue on with their operations in Lebanon. They have decided, not decided, it hasn't been stated, but it is pretty clear to any rational intelligence analyst and smart thinking people like you, Israel is now decoupling from Washington on Iran and Lebanon. That means they don't give. Yes, Wajid?
Since we're on Israel, Lebanon, and Iran, I have a bone to pick here.
With who?
Would you
Iran?
with
Bibi? With me?
with an argument? Not with you guys. No. I received a message saying that yesterday I might have come out a little bit pro Hezbollah for some reason, and I'm up. And here's the thing: I specialize in anti-terrorism. My specialty is fighting Islamic extremism. And let me tell you a thing or two. When we are talking about
Fez is off.
fighting Islamic extremism, going with war has never resulted in ending that Islamic extremism. Even when we fought ISIS, Saudi Arabia, I grew up bombs around me going off. I lost friends of mine when I was still in first grade, second grade, all the way to fifth grade because of these terrorist attacks in my home country. I've seen how it works. Saudi Arabia tried to kill these terrorist organizations by guns that they couldn't do anything about it because it is ideological. They had to create rehabilitation organization and bring those people that became extremists and rehabilitate them and bring them back to society after they changed their ideology.
Yes,
Now,
I wrote an entire book on that study, the Saudi methodology of rehabilitation, in my book, An End to Al-Qaeda, which was buy them out or kill them, right? Change their Islam back to normal or make sure they don't ever return home. That's your only choices. So listen, Wajid, as a Jew-hating Mossad agent, I know how you feel by getting stupid-ass criticism from dumb fucks that come on here. So I'm sorry. You're a gay Saudi living in Minneapolis. Pretty sure you're not on Hezbollah's side, right? So, and I don't even want to address those people anymore.
Just like to help people understand. There is an active war between Iran, its allies, including Hezbollah and Lebanon, and Israel. So if you're talking about Hezbollah actively sending drones and attacking Israeli soldiers because they're literally in an active war. It's not like they're in the middle of peace and Hezbollah sending some drones in the middle of Israel unannounced. No, Israel is making kinetic attacks inside of Lebanon. They have active soldiers fighting and taking Lebanese homes, and Hezbollah is responding because that territory is theirs. So I'm not defending Hezbollah. It's just what any organization would do at that situation.
We are assessing shit, okay? Assessing means that you have to look at it from the perspective of your enemy and come up with an assessment in which, wait, somebody said what? By the way, I don't know if you noticed it. Malcolm's real name is Shlomo Pincus. I'm glad I read that when I wasn't drinking my coffee tea. But it's an assessment. And this is what you would think after 112 days, I would have trained. All of you are amateur intelligence analysts now. You understand the cycle of knowledge that gives you a basis of experience now. You now know what is it like to see stupid things, what it's like to hear professionals talk about dumb things. What is it like to hear an expert like Wajid talk? It's an assessment, right? I had people come on Mario Nawafal. You're an Iran-loving pig traitor. It's like, really? I killed Iranians in battle. Pretty sure I'm there. They tried to kill me several times. An assessment is what we are doing on this show, people. But you get people, I'm sure, on YouTube, less trouble. But don't worry about it. I know that you don't even bother explaining it on your Substack because that's a win for the haters. Except when Wajahat Ali attacks you. I still have to do that because I have to explain to him how look, Malcolm is the Hebrew hammer.
Hebrew hammer. No, but
I'm in it for the comedy, y'all.
That's also why it's very important to listen carefully, because what Wadi and I were discussing yesterday was the fact that no matter how much we've criticized Israel and Netanyahu's handling of this whole affair, the terrible thing is that now Israel is in a really troublesome spot. And we could, you could see that for weeks and weeks and months that it would end up that way. So when we've been criticizing Netanyahu, it's actually because in our assessment, this leaves Israel in a really, really, really troublesome spot. And it's so troublesome that even today, the Israeli ambassador at the UN has criticized the deal. For a UN ambassador to come out and lambast the Trump administration in this way is really, really, really something people should take note of, because it's not every day you hear that. And I will also argue that one of the big successes for Iran in this war is that now they've been able to separate Israel and the US. They've been able to divide Trump and Netanyahu, and they get Israel on their own now for while Trump is in office. And that is a dream come true for the Iranians to only have to deal with, as they call it, the little Satan.
Yeah, very true. Okay, one last quote, two quotes, and we'll go to questions. John Podhoretz, with a panel, an all-star panel, including Eli Lake, who I think is wrong all the time, and a whole bunch of others, were saying Trump is saying Iran is nice, Qatar is brave, and Bibi is murdering Lebanese. What? And then Eli Lake goes, "What is going on? What is going on?" I can't play you the video because it's copyrighted material, but go look that up. That is a shocking piece of media where the decoupling is happening. I didn't think Trump proved very, very clearly to us 3 weeks ago, where he told Netanyahu, don't attack, don't do anything, I'm telling you this, and then started threatening his political career like he was going to back someone else for prime minister. That's when the great flipology happened right here. That's when that happened. Minus 23 points. He lost 46% of his support in Israel in 3 weeks when he went after Netanyahu. One last statement. Mike Huckabee, U.S. ambassador to Israel, a right-wing hardcore evangelical who believes that Israel must be preserved in every way, ... so it can be destroyed in the book of Revelations when Jesus comes back to earth and all Jews will be converted to Christianity after the rapture, of course. See, that's what evangelicals don't tell you. There's a ... to their support to Israel. They're all, and by the way, Israel's supposed to be destroyed in a nuclear holocaust. And that's what converts all the Jews to come to Christianity, right? He says, and I think we should debate this at some point, without Israel, there would not be an America. Opinions?
I think America was before Israel.
Is some weird, I don't know if you guys, there was a movement in England that started a right-wing evangelical movement in the United States. But during the 1800s, there was an Orientalist movement, which oh frick, I don't have my book with me. There was an Orientalist movement in England which branched over to the United States, in which Israelism, wasn't it? I have to look it up. But where all of these Christian English started backing, Judaism, but only in the sense that it had to benefit Christianity, right? Like Judaism
The
exists, the Jews are
evangelical
okay.
Christians in the United States have an actual conspiracy theory that if they support the Zionist Israeli regime, it will bring the day of judgment sooner. That's
Yes.
something we actually studied. Like it's not something I'm coming up with. There's constant evangelical groups that like support these causes regardless of what Israel does, just because they want to bring in the end of time for some reason. I'm like, why? You're not happy? Like I'm okay with this kind of like why you want to end this world?
Yes. Okay. This is what I was trying to tell you about. It was in my book, and they want to kill Americans because this was the foundation stones of a right-wing extremist movement that didn't take hold in England, but it did take hold in America, British Israelianism. And this is the belief, weird beliefs that moved on into neo-Nazism and Nazism, right? But it was a 19th century belief that the 12th tribe of Israel, which, as you know, there were 12 tribes of Israel. One of them went north up into Turkey, what is now Aleppo, Turkey area, and disappeared, right? Was dissipated as a Jewish tribe. There is this crazy ass right-wing belief that started here with British Israelianism, that tribe actually kept together, moved all the way across Europe, and placed its foundations in England, right?
Wow.
And that the British Empire, the belief that the people of Great Britain are genetically and racially and linguistically the direct descendants of the 10 lost tribes of ancient Israel. Is it 10? I thought it was 12. Okay, 10 tribes of ancient Israel. With roots in 18th century British Israelianism, was inspired by several 19th century writings, including John Wilson, Our Israelianism Origin. This jumped over from England, and I wrote about this in my book, They Want to Kill Americans, jumped over to the United States and inspired the evangelical movement belief. Now, they separated Jews from their belief in the superiority of the tribes of Israel in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Weird, right? It's like saying you like chocolate, but you fucking hate cocoa. So it's really, really, I mean, the cocoa bean, right? You hate the cocoa bean. So many
Nice.
organizations are active in the United States, and this gave us what? The 1970s Christian identity movement that created those great terrorist groups like the Order and the blade and the gun and the sword and the arm of the Lord. These terrorist groups that literally, when I was in the 70s and 80s, were marauding around the United States, mass murdering people. The Christian identity movement is now MAGA, right? And Christian nationalism, only not using terrorism, but by using this belief that, you are better than everybody and that you're part of, I don't know, some missing tribe of Israel. I'm not even going to get into Mormonism. I went to Brigham Young University for a semester and I had enough about that. That is also an off take that a tribe, one of the 10 tribes left, crossed North Africa, moved to Brazil, came all the way up through Central America, came through all of South America, and then stopped in upstate New York at the time of Jesus. So that being said, no offense to anybody, and keep your beliefs. But British Israelianism is fundamentally to blame for a lot of these right-wing American evangelical beliefs that Israel must be preserved in order for it to be destroyed. Destroyed. That being said, that is why you have Mike Huckabee saying America would not be here without Israel. America wouldn't be here without Israel. Is that some bizarre reading of the Bible? I don't know. Anywho's, that's how
It's
crazy
nuts.
things are today. Okay, questions. Let's get to questions because there's 100 of them. I have about 5 minutes. I've got 10 minutes. I got to jump off for the Stephanie Miller radio show on Sirius Satellite. I do that every Wednesday. Holy shit, there's like 100 questions here. Comments. Now that hostilities are over, according to Michael Calamaris, what are the chances of accountability from the international community for clear violations of international law? Will it ever happen? No, won't happen. Trump has marked all of this as a financial transaction. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
The whole thing became a financial transaction. The $300 billion is marketed now as private donations that will need to be fundraised by private companies and countries around the world. So Trump doesn't have to pay it out of our taxpayer money. The whole thing has been marketed toward the Iranian government as a cash incentive to convince them to stop making any more attacks. The situation is that Iran will have the ability not only to rebuild its infrastructure and economy, but they will be able to be better prepared to build their nuclear infrastructure, whether they want to reach a nuclear bomb in the future or they want to rebuild their mountain infrastructures where they can be away from the eyes of everyone else.
Everything's going underground. And I think it's all going underground on the Turkmen border, right? Way the fuck away. Maybe down near Afghanistan where you could actually, in the middle of the desert, tunnel boring machines for everyone, fighter bases, everything is going underground. And if they're smart, we don't know because we don't have the greatest intelligence, even though Israel has great intelligence. There could be 10, 15 other facilities we just don't know about. And, if the Iranians are smart, they would do that. They would create a 100 facility shell game, all underground. Yeah. Okay. What are the odds
take a look at a map, these people could smuggle weapons like crazy into the little tiny Gaza Strip right here. And what do you expect? For heaven's sakes. It's take a look at a map. It's not easy.
Next question.
It's not hard.
From Sean Howard, what are the odds that Israel operations in southern Lebanon will derail the MOU? I don't think it'll derail the MOU. I think this is done. Trump is run, and he has literally paid off Iran to get him out of this.
But you don't think that Netanyahu will, press the envelope a bit too far?
Decoupled.
And then force the Iranians to shoot?
Decoupled.
Well, that's why
separate war now.
We did not tell the Israelis anything about the MOU because we literally expected that the Israelis will not only leak the MOU and will try to find a way to undermine it. Because if you know what the MOU is about, then you know what kind of weaknesses there are that you can exploit. Therefore, you can bring it down. So it makes very much sense that we have not gotten the Israelis on board with the MOU until this point.
Amy Summers says, Ed Luce in the Financial Times is reporting that, quote, this time Trump and Netanyahu have really fallen out. How long before Bibi, Ben-Gvir, and Katz fuck this up, this absurd MOU Trump is agreeing to? I'm going to set that question aside and say this. I really believe that based on everything that I've seen, that Jeffrey Epstein really did have ties into very high-level government figures in both the United States, Israel, and Russia. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had a way to recalibrate Donald by saying, hey, listen, now that Malcolm Nance is a Jew-hating Mossad officer, he's our liaison officer to Congress, and we're going to hand him over the whole Mossad Epstein files. That's not going to happen. But it could easily be hinted that maybe there's something out there Trump would not like out there if he keeps getting in our way.
Well,
Don't tell
there's
me
a
that
former
is not.
Mossad agent that came out yesterday and said that Mossad would be ready to release some unseen Epstein files if this would to go through. So this is not me saying this. This is a former Mossad agent coming on Israeli television and saying that we're ready to release Epstein files if you go with this.
And if it's anybody, it's that guy Aleph, the former director who just got fired, who should have taken over as the head of the Mossad, 40-year Mossad officer, who just
Let me
got
see if I
fired.
can find it.
This is the one guy that could make things really bad. He'd be like, oh, I cannot comment on operations against Iran, but Jeffrey Epstein. All right, guys, listen. That's the last question. I'm going to be answering your questions on Substack. You can still do that. We've gone over. Thank you very much. I want to encourage you because we have, people are viewing that this war is winding down. We will be going to a new format where this will become a global geopolitical intelligence cast the way it's supposed to, right? And a geopolitical cast means we're going to go region by region around the world. We're going to go United States, Europe, Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and show you how everything that's related to this war is now interactive. They all interact. The world is a big blue marble, and we are all interacting in that. And there are fascinating things going on in sub-Saharan Africa, which affect your lives, especially with Ebola. And not to mention World Cup playing and stupid things like that. Which is why we're getting our ass handed to us by Cape Verde. And, and small countries are going at it. So I want to thank you guys for coming. We did an extra extended one. Tomorrow we'll probably do a longer one. We have time. Waj, I know this is cutting into your Q&A.
That's fine.
But I'm back. And
I'll just see. I'm probably out for a meeting tomorrow afternoon. I'll shoot you a message in case I have to message.
Let us know. We always value your opinions. Please, if you have an opportunity, become a paid subscriber. I'm making a paid subscriber plea because as the war is powering down, so are some people who are paid subscribers. Become a paid subscriber to Black Man Spy. It's $7 a month. That's it. And you get to have a good ass time with me every morning. And now that the war is powering down, we can start doing more subscriber only events, even including a New York City meetup, because I'll be going down to New York City. And I love reading your commentaries down there. So some says, can I make my show to 1.5 to 2 hours? We could. If I get enough paid subscribers. So,
that's right.
And I'm upgrading all the logos and all the cool stuff and but a lot more videos are paid subscribers only. I have actually a whole bunch of spy travel ones that people have asked me to do. I just came back from England, did a bunch of stuff there with Bletchley Park and the special operations executive. And we are getting merch. So keep your shirt on. Thank you for coming to this episode of Black Man Spy. Thank you for, if you're a Russian
warship.
Remember
the Ukraine special tonight?
Ukraine special, go to that. I'm going to be watching. Just remember to make sure they eating nachoy. So thank you for coming. Follow Wadja, follow Jacob, follow me. If you are not a paid subscriber, please become a paid subscriber. I could really appreciate it. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.